a genetically modified organism is a genetically sorry.
Any organism that has been artificially manipulated
The
at
role
the genetic level.
of, in a way, taking the role
It is
of God.
essentially a glorified crossbreeded species that, due to human interference, has become a different kind of organism.
Any organism that has been artificially manipulated at the genetic level.
Modified organism. I guess basically any kind of plant or animal, any living thing that has been altered, the genes have been altered through science.
The way I've always understood GMOs to be is something that to speed up a process or to make something larger than it is.
Modified via artificial processes that are not found in nature.
It's all over the news, it's in the paper.
My parents have always been really against GMOs. We've always eaten organically and tried to avoid them, so it's just kind of always been
I listen to the radio a lot and I read, and I understand that many people are in favor of them, but many people are scared to.
Genetically modified organisms, I've learned about that through just a whole bunch of different sources, mainly people just talking about it, family members, friends, and all of that, and some internet research that I cannot personally source.
I first learned about GMOs by creating GMOs. My first project as an undergraduate was to genetically engineer a plant line that could sequester arsenic and arsenic-related compounds from both soil.
The first time I really fully heard about it and looked into it was when I started off as a political cartoonist here. One of the first ideas that I had pitched was the whole thing about Monsanto and the scandal that had been happening at the time. So I looked at the article and read up
there's
on it.
a huge publicity hype surrounding the ethical standards behind GMOs, so that was kind of a huge component, as well as took a biology class once and we discussed that.
I learned about it through a few different documentaries like Food Inc., King Corn, Frankensteer, and I've also taken a few environmental science classes.
There's a lot of negative press, but probably some equal amount of fairly positives as well.
Really, I don't necessarily see a huge amount of GMOs covered in a lot of mass media, which is a shame because it really should be talked about more.
It depends on the media source that you're dealing with.
I would say GMOs aren't being portrayed at all. I would say that a lot of people don't really know what a GMO is because of the mass media. I would say anything that they know is due to grassroots movements or
the media is doing it biased to portray whatever they want to portray to the public.
I do not feel very good about them being in the food supply because they are going to give us diseases and
probably
kill
mixed.
us all.
I don't know enough about the details, but fundamentally they're not bad. When you think about it, corn today looks nothing like corn did.
I think GMOs are terrible for us. I try to buy anything that has certified non-GMO labeling on it. I feel like it's really going to affect our health negatively in the future, and it's going to be one of those things that
I think it's a good, advancement in agricultural technology. I think it's important to pursue, just in moderation, everything.
To be honest, I don't really care, because I'm still gonna eat it, and everyone else is still gonna eat it. It's up to that person, the individual person, and how much it's gonna affect them. So I don't care that they're out there because they're gonna be there. There's nothing we can do about it. Might as well just learn to live with it. So.
There's a lot of things that are unknown that could be problems later on down the road when these things start crossbreeding and inbreeding with native or wild populations that only time will be able to tell because it's highly unknown.
Generally, I would consider myself kind of a naturalist when it comes to food. I know how I like to have things grown, and I know how I like to grow things, but I'm also not against advancement and people that want to experiment with it. Unfortunately, a lot of it is driven, motivated by money and profit, so that always makes it a little more difficult.
Anytime anything is changed from its natural state, and it may be with good intentions, like trying to make crops larger and, more, so we can produce more food, etc., or better food, it does change something, and there's always effects that aren't known till down the road. For instance, the corn that they produce that is bug resistant, well, if you think about it, if the bugs won't eat it, then maybe that's an indication that we shouldn't eat it either.
I would try and do all natural, all organic produce and meats and everything all the time, but the reality is the U.S. needs so much food, and it does take longer to grow natural vegetables, and it's harder to keep them where they will be fruitful and successful, where GMOs are just fast and easy.
If I had the choice, I would buy it organic.
I try to, yes.
No.
Falling on a college budget.
Yeah, come on. I'm ramen all the way, cheese puff corns from the Dorito brand all the way.
No, I wouldn't say so.
I try. Like I say, sometimes it's hard to navigate the produce section, but when the season is right, I farmers market it for the majority of my produce.
I try to, but on a college budget, I simply cannot.
I don't feel that there are more pros. I think we're better off eating naturally grown food and raised food from livestock. I think it's healthier. And
I guess you're making like crops that last longer and that are more resistant, especially in other countries and stuff. I think it's like...
It just depends. It's got to be more than a means to an end, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of pros to it, especially in the developing world. We've already reached a food crisis, and it's only going to get more intense. So there's, it's going to boil down to regulation.
Overall, I think there's more pros. I really think that that's going to be the only way that we're going to be able to feed the masses, billions of people on Earth. It would be nice to feed everyone organically, but that's just not going to be possible. It's not going to be feasible, and we've pretty much already exhausted so many resources. There's just no way to make it happen. Cool.
Thank you.
I do not.
I guess corn.
Yep.
And soybeans would be my next
I would guess tomatoes and corn, but...
Corn is one of them.
No fucking clue. Probably corn is one of them. Soy and corn.
I don't know, because that, especially like Monsanto, they do a lot of really sketchy stuff.
It's a little bit strange because you're patenting a farmer's livelihood, so they have to buy more seeds from the company. It's just a legal area that we haven't really ever had to deal with, that we're going to have to deal with now, that we don't really know.
I think
Too
Monsanto
much
is
about.
a monster corporation, and I don't think they should be able to patent certain recipes for genetically modified foods, because then that gives them the right to sue organic farmers who are in the area and their crops get contaminated by genetically modified crops, and it just causes a whole problem.
I think
for
it's
everyone.
necessary to engineer a robust and successful genetically modified organism. Takes quite a bit of time and money to do this. I would argue that the reason why companies like Monsanto patent their product is to, well, basically make sure that they have a steady revenue stream so they can continue to do innovative work in the future.
I don't know how you give someone the option of patenting a seed that everyone needs to make a crop. Like, I think that's stupid.